So guys, Battlefield 5 has officially rolled over into Chapter 6 now, and we've got a brand new map called Solomon Islands to try out. But the question is it actually any good, and is it worth playing? Well guys, this is BillyEatWorld again, and let's find out. Alright guys, how you going? Welcome to the video, and to kick off, like I said, we're now officially into Chapter 6 in Battlefield 5, and it looks like in this one we're going to be continuing with the War in the Pacific theme. And along with this new Solomon Islands map, apparently Chapter 6 also includes a couple of new elites and a few new weapons like the Type 11 LMG, the M2 carbine, and the Model 37 shotgun. Now, hopefully you'd think there's probably going to be a little bit more content to come later on down the track, but it looks like DICE are, at this point, staying fairly quiet on what that could be. Which, to be honest, I actually think is probably a good thing, because more than a few times they've announced stuff too early and then had to roll it back, so probably best that they start to rein those sort of announcements in. Now, as for Solomon Islands itself, well, we'll talk about how it plays in just a moment, but really the first impression that I got is that maybe this was meant to be part of Chapter 5. Because look, and I'm not saying that the Solomon Islands campaign wasn't an important one in World War II, it's just that it's really not that iconic compared to, say, for example, Iwo Jima or Wake Island. And not just that, but there's really not anything in this map that screams, this is the Solomon Islands. It's more like just a generic jungle map, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, it's just that it's really not that unique, and it seems like it's a bit of a weird choice to spearhead a whole new chapter. But anyway, putting that aside, let's pretend that none of that is a factor. How is the map anyway? And well, honestly, it's actually not too bad. I mean, aesthetically, it's not even close to being as pretty as, say, Merida or Mercury, but the most important thing, though, is that the gameplay is actually decent. Also, I should mention, apparently this one was designed by the guys who built Argonne Forest in Battlefield 1, and well, as you can imagine, Solomon Islands does feel pretty similar. But more than that, though, what I think this map really feels like, with the rivers and the jungle paths and the fishing villages that you can pulverize into rubble, is Bad Company 2. Now, speaking of Bad Company 2, well, one of the things that game is beloved for is its linear map design that worked so well on game modes like Rush. And don't quote me on this, but it really seems like the devs have tried to design this in a similar way. Rather than just being able to freely move anywhere, the map does force you down the pre-made paths. Now, you might remember that, for example, Wake Island is pretty linear as well and does the same sort of thing, but it kind of suffers from the fact that it's so open, which makes it kind of hard sometimes to actually pull off sneaky flanks. But on the other hand, in this map, there's some pretty dense vegetation and a fair bit of verticality going on as well. So you can sneak around in the defilades around the terrain and ambush people from behind, which feels absolutely awesome. Now, finally, the last thing I want to mention in this video that I really love about this map is that, as well as being a little bit more linear, it's also more infantry focused. For example, there's no planes at all, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to really love. And yes, there is tanks, but the armor has usually got to get in a bit closer to slog it out if they want to get anything done. Not just that, but there's also a mix of different styles of terrain to make basically any playstyle relevant, from close range to long range. You can charge into the villages with an SMG, or you can sit back with a bolt action if you want. And that's super good, I think, because there's nothing worse than a map that's only designed for one particular playstyle. Like, for example, Al Sandan, which really was mostly a long-range map with only a few close-range areas. So all in all, to wrap up, bearing all of that in mind, it sounds pretty okay, right? But like I said, really the main thing that lets it down is the presentation. And I mean, sure, some old school Bad Company 2 vibes do count for a lot in my book, but I mean, a few months ago we were having a ball storming up Suribachi, and really there's nothing like that, unfortunately, in this map. So yes, I think I probably would say that it is worth playing, and maybe it's even a solid 7.5 out of 10, but the real question is that good enough for where this game is at right now? And, well, you'll have to make your own minds up on that one, but let's just hope that in the next few maps we get something that's a bit more iconic, something a bit more like Iwo Jima, something that if we don't already love, we can learn to love in a fairly short period of time. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this quick map review. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How are you guys feeling about this particular map? And I don't do this often, but what I want you guys to do is rate it out of 10 down below. I'd really like to see what you guys think. As always, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And also, don't forget you can find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later, and have a good one.